Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome to episode 368 of Geek Syndicate, where we bring the sass back to geekdom. I am Monts, and he is... What happened there?
I don't know.
What happened there? I was rolling, man.
I was ready. I had some kind of like... I was trying to think, what's going to work today? What kind of sassiness can I come up with today? And my brain was just like, we got nothing, Nuge. You got nothing. You know, like that film. What's the film where you see inside the girl's head and you got all the different people Inside Out?
Oh yeah.
It's almost like if they cut to my head, everyone would have just been chilling with their feet up. Right. And then suddenly alarms go off. It's like, what? He wants an idea. It's like, where's the ideas guy? He's eating a bargain bucket out of the back. Do you know what I mean? So get him in here. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Afternoon, evening, morning geekdom. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Maybe what it is I was so burnt out after the whole Saxophone Jones intro last episode that there was nowhere for me to go.
Mate, in my head, that's legendary, man. Saxophone Jones. And the twist is he don't play the saxophone.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, here we go today. We're on a schedule today, so let's get it on. Got shout outs?
Yes. I want to give a shout out to my boy Dethan, who has now turned author.
Yeah.
He wrote like Cancer Town. Obviously, I've worked with Cy on some of my stuff as well.
I first became aware of Cy when he was writing Starship Troopers, and he delivered some of the best lines to this day that I've ever heard.
I will piss bullets down your throat.
I will piss bullets down your throat. I was like, come on. Who thinks of the line like that, man? I don't know.
I mean,
the side of tongue.
I love the fact that his kind of intro, he described he's a British writer and former professional magician. I mean, that alone should be some sort of like pilot show. Do you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But Cy has now written a novel which came out a few days ago, I think, actually. And the novel's called Bad Sector. Now, I knew Cy was writing a novel, so we've been sort of chatting about it as he's been going through the process. It's really exciting to see someone turning their hand to sort of prose. I mean, it's great. And the blurb is classic Cy. So the blurb for Bad Sector reads...
Number one, I'll let you finish that in a second, but I just got to say, I had to look at the blurb, and I got as far as Sentient City, and I downloaded it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
You got it on Kindle?
I got it on Kindle.
In the sentient city of expectation, an augmented executioner hunts the murderer of everyday Carrie, the woman who couldn't be killed. Permanent Mark is going to have to solve this case.
Permanent Mark.
If it kills him again. I mean, you can't not.
There's nothing else to say, man.
There's nothing else to say, man.
Yeah.
So I also have got it on my Kindle, but I'm probably gonna get it on hardback as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to sort of getting stuck into it. So yeah. So congrats, Cy, and welcome to the author community.
Yeah. Nice.
I'll be in touch with Secret Handshake and membership cards soon.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Secret Handshake. Of course, people look at people. If someone does a secret handshake, they're just like, "Yeah, that's a secret handshake."
Yeah,
people don't shake hands like that. What is that?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the news.
Yeah. News it. Here comes a news it.
Okay, man. Saxophone Jones was killing it, and you just took it right back to
old school Nuge.
Some really dire levels there, man.
Yeah, okay, man.
Yeah.
All right.
So did I go in a little hard there?
Kick a man when he's down. Do you know what I mean?
This time we can't kick you back.
Fair enough. Good point. I can't even argue that logic, man.
So news-wise, I've got two bits you might have, but the first one is that we're looking at a Buffy return.
Oh yes, I forgot about this news. Yes.
So I haven't got all the details in front of me, so I'm not going to be bringing out any names or whatever because I can't bother to look it up. But of course, for me, this is thing because me and my daughter, we are finally we're halfway through the last season of Buffy. We've been getting up like 6 o'clock every morning to watch it before school. And we're getting to the end game now, and so it's full on. And then like this thing comes out that Buffy's returning, so I had to have a look. And so this rumor was out, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar herself, Buffy herself, comes out and goes, I was never, I've never ruled out a return to Buffy, but it would have to be right, and it's never been right. All these years, I don't know how many years it's been now. And then she said, she was convinced to sit down with the director or the producer who had an idea. So she agreed to sit down for 20 minutes, and that 20 minutes turned into 4 hours. And that was 4 years ago. So they have been talking about this for 4 years. And she's come out and said she thinks they've found a way in that's respectful, that makes it work, that's whatever. And they're going for it. Well, by going for it, that means they're going to be making a pilot. So that doesn't mean we're going to get a full series. And that pilot could still be a couple of years away, at least.
Yeah, and it could still not get picked up after the pilot comes out.
So there's a little part of me goes, oh, this is interesting. And you get all that thing. Is it worth touching? Blah, blah, blah. Is it whatever? But regardless, in a way, it's almost not even worth knowing that it's in the pipeline unless having those rumors kind of help get it made. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think there is a certain thing sometimes with these things is I think the more smoke they're able to create, the more fire they can kind of get out of it. Which sometimes does lead to shows getting orders to pilot that might not necessarily have done because of the fact that the following is there for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to be honest, I would make the argument you don't need to do all that with Buffy because the following is always there if you were going to do any more.
Even if people don't like the sound of it, they'll tune in.
Exactly. There is a big part of me that's kind of like Buffy was a fantastic show in its time. It's had its time. I love to go back and rewatch it and stuff like that, or rewatch certainly parts of it. But I still fall into that camp of I like to see new stuff. However, if they do decide to carry it on, and they maybe put, see, the part of me that's like if they put Sarah Gellar in the Sarah Michelle
Gellar.
Oh God, I'm really not with it today.
What's happening to you today?
I know I'm not with it today. But if they put SMG, there we go. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
If they put SMG in the like the kind of Giles type role.
Okay. Yeah.
That could work. That could free her up as well because there may well be an argument of she might not want to do it for like a load of episodes. She might want to drop in and out. But there's another side of me that's kind of like, I'd like to see her front and center because it's Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
So, and then where do you go with? I know they tried to carry it on in the comics, so I wonder if that's what they'll do with the fact that you've got loads and loads of Slayers now.
Yeah. And there's a audio drama which I've got but I haven't listened to yet.
Yeah, me too.
Do you know what it was? I started playing it, and within 3 minutes, I kind of got a bit put off.
Really?
And I don't know why. I can't even remember why now, so I'm going to have to go back to it. But it was part written by Chris Golden, who's written a lot of stuff. Like, he's written a lot of adaptations and spin-offs for, like, Hellboy universe. And I listened to some of his audiobooks in, like, I think it was Lobster Johnson, one I did. And what I found is that he just goes long. It's like, it didn't have to be this long, and you're stretching it out. And when I saw that his name was on it, and I don't think I'm not saying he's a bad writer at all. He just stretches it out much longer than it has a right to be. So, I thought Lobster Johnson was hard to get wrong. And I wouldn't say he got it wrong, but it just wasn't what it could have been.
I stopped listening to that. And that's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you love your pulp characters?
I love my pulp. I love Lobster Johnson. Because I felt, and I think you nailed it. It was just too. It weren't snappy enough. It was. It like you said. It did sort of. It felt more novel. I think it's like pick a lane. I think if it was a novel, I think it would work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's trying to be part novel, part audio drama, and that might work for some people, but for me, that doesn't really work. I'd rather it just be an audio drama or be an audio book.
Yeah, I hear you.
So cool. So my bit of news is from Big Finish, who never seem to stop working.
Man.
So their latest announcement is Christopher Eccleston and Billy Piper are set to star in a brand new series of full cast Doctor Who audio dramas. So that's the Ninth Doctor and Rose. You heard about this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is going to drop in August this year, and it's 12 episodes.
Okay. 12?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 12 episodes.
I wonder how are they rolling it out as their usual box sets, or is it like a reduced price for an episode, or what do you get? And admittedly, if you're into that subscription for that thing, there's
So basically, 12 looks like it's 12 episodes which slot into the 2005 series. Each episode is going to be an hour. I'm guessing each one is relatively standalone. It looks like each one's going to be $9.99 per story, or $11.99 if you download to own and a collector's edition CD, or you can buy it as a bundle, which is either 102 quid or 126 quid. Yeah, again, I
just it just seems like it needs a new model, man, especially in this time of these hard times.
Yeah, it's a hefty chunk of change. That is,
It is.
It has to be said,
especially if you're invested in other series they're bringing out as well.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to be well off now to keep on board with this.
Yeah.
I would pay a subscription.
I know, and we've said this pretty much every time. Every time one of us does a Big Finish news story, it ends with us going, "I'd pay if they did some sort of subscription."
Yeah, at a risk of becoming what do you call it, a stuck record.
Yeah, so
I think it's I think what I find really interesting about that is every time you talk about the character of Rose, it's always it's David Tennant's Doctor and Rose. So bringing back the originals like that, I think would be really interesting, and I look forward to that.
Yeah, because I think hasn't he done?
He has done, and
he's done some, hasn't he?
I listened to his first one and really enjoyed it because he just had a very different energy to the other new Doctors. It was very kind of much more grounded, if you see what I mean. But by grounded, that doesn't take away from it being good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would. I'd like to see is the wrong way to put it. I'd like to hear Peter Capaldi do one.
Yes.
I feel he'd be really good.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I was going to say the Fugitive Doctor, but I'll talk about that in the week that was.
Ooh, segue.
It's time for the week that was.
Well, seeing as you brought it up, do you want to start?
Yes. So I did a couple of Big Finish things as a performer, and the producer. And I heard that the guy who produced the episode I was in was producing the Fugitive Doctor. And I'm like, recent times, Fugitive Doctor is my doctor. She came on TV and I was like, okay, come on, I'll follow you to the gates of hell. Do you know what I mean? So I would die to be in an episode of a Fugitive Doctor episode. And he'd come back and goes, yeah, no, I've retired from that. Also, we did it like last year. It was a year ago. It was over a year ago they did it, and it was coming. I was like, I missed the boat on that one, but I kept an eye out for it, and it's up. And I started listening. I am really enjoying it. I feel like anyone who's new to that, who's new to doing a character and doing audio dramas, it takes a little while to warm up to your character and to fight. And I've found it doing like cutscenes for computer games. I'll start it and by the time we get to the end of it, I go, can we go back and do the beginning again? Because I've worked it out now.
Right, okay.
And so I think there's a little bit of that going on. And I'm only halfway through the box set at the moment. So there's 3 episodes. I think there's 4 episodes and I'm through 2, not sure. But I've done 2 stories. But I am absolutely loving it. I'm loving Joe Martin as the Doctor. I just, at the end of the first one, I was like, yeah, this feels like my Doctor.
Okay.
So, yeah. And what's interesting, so with the War Doctor, you've got this grizzled old doctor who's trying to who's lost who they are and whatever. With the Fugitive Doctor, you've got a Doctor who's on the run.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's always a chase going on. There's always someone on her tail, and that adds a certain pressure as well, which I think makes for a really nice storytelling. So I'm in with the Fugitive Doctor stories and where it will go.
Nice. Okay. I've got that to listen to. So I listened to the trailer and I really like the sound of the trailer. And it's interesting hearing what you say about getting used to the character, because there were elements in the trailer where I felt she was stronger than in other elements of the trailer, if that makes sense. Which
Yeah,
I'm
no,
guessing
absolutely
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there's somewhere it felt like she's in a that's it. There's somewhere it felt like she was standing in a recording booth reading a line. And there were others where it felt like I was there with her. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of listening to this. Okay, so my first one is a cartoon series. This is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spiderman.
Okay, I've been meaning to watch this.
Okay.
I've heard some very, very mixed things. I've been meaning to watch it. I haven't.
Okay.
Do you know what? I've got a journey. Once we finish doing this, I'm journeying over to my in-laws on the train, so I might download the first episode. But spoil it for me. What you got?
So my thing is, so I went into this. So it's important to know I went into this kind of a bit curmudgeon-y, because I was kind of like, in all of the world of Marvel, did we really need another Spider-Man?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And to a certain extent, there's always going to be that part of me that thinks that. So that's thing number one. But I think the clever swerve that they've done is that this is Spider-Man, but it's basically Spider-Man in a different. They're saying alternate timeline. I would probably say alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like in this one, the way that he gets bitten by the spider is completely different to what we've known before.
Okay.
And actually involves another Marvel character, which I was quite surprised because I wasn't expecting it. And what I quite liked is, just as I was getting the whole kind of, oh, really, we're going to do the whole, this is how he becomes Spider-Man, this is him being Spider-Man thing again. It does a bit of a time jump to him now being a very early days Spider-Man. So he hasn't like got his costume and stuff worked out and whatever. But what I think is quite clever is it touches on certain things that are happening in the background that give you an idea of that, one, where we are in terms of the MCU timeline, and two, it confirms that this is not the same universe that we know as the MCU.
Right.
So, like, for example, there's a bit where they talk about the Sokovia Accords, which is where we get Civil War, and Civil War is kind of going on.
Mm-hmm.
But we just see like bits on the TV and stuff. But obviously, if you've seen the Civil War film, Spider-Man was in that film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas in this one, he ain't even close to it.
Right.
And like in the other one, like his mentor was like Tony Stark, whereas like I don't want to say who it is because I don't want to spoil it, but it's someone else in this one.
Okay. All right.
So for me, doing that, I think, is what freshened it up a little bit and made it more kind of interesting. And one of the things I think I know people have been a bit divisive over is the look of it, the art of it.
Yeah. This is what I've heard.
And for me, on one hand, I can get maybe why people don't like it. I love it, and the reason being is, one, they're saying it's a throwback to the early Spider-Man comics by like Steve Ditko and John Romita Sr. But for me, do you remember them old 60s cartoons, the Marvel ones?
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man, Captain America, the Iron Man, Iron Man still has the best intro ever, man. It's basically the art reminded me of those, but jazzed up for now. So because of that, I think I'm probably one step ahead, because I'm already used to seeing that kind of art as a kid.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does.
So for me, I've got zero problem with the art whatsoever. In fact, like I said, I need to tell my brother about it because he'll love it. Because again, it's that throwback it reminded me of watching these things as a kid. So yeah, so overall, I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying the little changes and stuff that they're doing. I do wonder if this is them setting up some stuff for like Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars.
Right. Okay.
Because it's getting people more used to the idea, I think, of different universes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'd say give it a look. See,
I think the other thing that put me off was the kid who's playing Spider-Man.
Oh, didn't you say some stupid stuff?
He said some stupid stuff like, "Oh, the script wasn't as woke as I thought it was going to be."
Yeah,
and I'm like, what does that mean? It's woke nonsense. People don't know what.
The funny thing is, whatever your definition of woke he puts in speech marks. If you go and watch this show, how you can't see how this show would kind of fall into whatever you consider what to be is very, actually it's very diverse in terms of its characters and the way they do things and stuff like that. And in some ways, as it shows Spider-Man on the rise, it shows another character's downfall into becoming a particular villain. Again, I won't say who it is or spoil it, but yeah, there's a lot of kind of parallels there, I think. But yeah, I think I'm on episode 6, and I am really enjoying it. I still think that I would have really enjoyed same art and everything like that, but if you'd give me a different character, I mean, heck, even like a Captain America show. Do you know what I mean? It's not even about like giving me someone who's completely unrecognizable, but it's just that Spider-Man has so many
iterations of
him. Do you know what I mean? It's just someone else, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
Anywho,
I've got a movie.
Okay.
Well, first of all, just a really brief mention to Back in Action, which you mentioned before.
Oh, is this the Jamie Foxx one?
Jamie Foxx and what's her name, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
So Siobhan and I watched that and thoroughly enjoyed that nonsense.
That's the word.
That's what I got, man. It was absolute nonsense, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it's like also as a parent, there was bits of it. The two of us, me and Siobhan, we just looked at each other and just went, "Yeah." I get that. It's like, if we were like spies and this happened, that'd probably be exactly how it would go down with our kids and how proud we'd be of what we did at that moment. And there was a bit where like one of the kids they beat up some bad spies and the kids are like, "Do you not just see what happened?" And she's like, "Did you not just see what we did? Get in the damn car." About get in the car, man. Did you not just see what we did? We kicked out. Anyway, I was just like, yeah, it was nonsense. You know what I mean? But it's like you said, some things that can't get made while you're putting money into that is unforgivable. But at the same time, I enjoyed myself. So
yeah.
But what I did want to talk about was the creator.
Do you know what? That's been on my list for time, and I don't know why I haven't got around to watching it.
Yeah, so it's made by Gareth Edwards. That was made by the director's Gareth Edwards, and the main person in it is John David Washington. Where else do we know him from?
He was in Tenet.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Tenet Super, which is a high strength lager.
And yes, exactly. And Black Klansman, which I haven't seen.
No.
Oh gosh, how did I miss that? He's Denzel Washington's son.
Yeah, that I knew, but again,
no, I totally missed that.
I don't know why I didn't lead with that. But
yes. Gemma Chan's in there, who I will always fancy. And there's a young kid called Madeline Una Voiles, who is amazing. She's only she's young. She's great. So it is basically so humanity evolves AI to help them in every part of their life, and then AI releases a bomb in LA which kills loads of people, so the human race declare war on AI. And there's no AI in America, but there is AI in Asia. And the Americans are like, let's be clear, we're not at war with Asia, but we are at war with AI. And they built this massive ship that's there to hunt it out. And Washington's character is sent in to try and find this new weapon that they're built, to find the guy who's created new AI and building this weapon to take him out. And it's not a spoiler to say the weapon turns out to be an AI that is a child, which no one thought was possible, and it's a child that grows. So he's he's really conflicted about what he has to do. It is a really interesting movie. There's lots of it where there's no talking. A lot of it is to do with the emotions that people are feeling and relationship and struggling through. And it's not the most American of movies, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of it really, there's a fair amount of action and good action, but it really makes you think. It really makes you feel. And I was totally, utterly drawn in from beginning to end. Personally, I haven't heard what other people have said about it. So what I like about that is my review of it, my thoughts of it are coming completely out of the blue, out of my own head, without being influenced by others' thoughts.
Yeah.
And I found it. I think the word for me was compelling, really compelling watching.
There is something to be said nowadays, I think, for watching stuff after the fact.
Yeah,
Because like, for example, like I've already told myself I'm not watching, and I know there's an element of you taking, you're maybe perhaps taking money away, but I've already said I'm not going to see Captain America: Brave New World at the cinema. I'll probably wait until it comes on Disney Plus, and even then, I'll probably may well not watch it the minute it drops on Disney Plus, just because it's so like divisive and stuff. I just don't want to get involved with it. I'd rather just try and watch it under my own steam.
Yeah. I hear you.
But yeah, okay. So I still said I saw a trailer for The Creator, and I really like the look of it. I thought it looked a little bit like you were saying. I thought it looked quite heavy at the time when I watched the trailer, and I just wasn't in the right vibe for that.
It's not, but it is. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's sci-fi with sci-fi action. No, it is heavy. Yeah.
It just looked heavy. It looked weighty. Maybe heavy is the wrong way to put it.
Let's go with weighty.
It looked weighty, and I wasn't in the right headspace for that.
There's a lot of concepts in there, and there's a lot of death.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
I might. Yeah, I will watch it, but I don't know how soon I'll be watching it. On a complete sort of 180 of that, so I've been meaning to give this comic a plug, which I picked up at Thought Bubble, but it was actually released in January last year, called Jacques and the Great Art Theft.
Okay.
So this is this comic is centered around a Parisian cat burglar who's trying to do this big heist in an art gallery. But one of the things I wanted to bring up about it is, one, it's got a real European vibe to it, so I think you'd like it just because of that. But also the book is almost entirely dialogue free.
Ooh, what's it called again?
Jacques, probably, like Jacques as in Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah.
Jacques and the Great Art Theft. The art is glorious. So this is by Chris Baldi. He did trying to remember now. He did a comic called Roll the One, which was about Dungeons and Dragons, like a group of people playing Dungeons and Dragons, which was fantastic. I also met Chris at football. I was chatting to him and stuff, and I picked up. I think he was giving them away free. It was like I think it was the first issue of Space Captain of Space, which actually, no,
I'm in.
It was actually it was pretty good. I quite enjoyed that as well. But yeah, so I'll tell you what it is. You remember back in the day, right, when we were kids, 5:30, maybe it used to drop on a Friday. You used to get things like Harold Lloyd.
Yeah. Harold Lloyd. Yeah.
It's basically that kind of vibe. It's basically if Harold Lloyd was a cat burglar.
Nice. No, I'm looking at it. It's really quite stylized, old school art. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
And I loved it. It was really fun, really funny. Had bags of heart. More going on than you think is going on, and it was just a fun read.
Nice. Okay.
And really good one, I think, for one reading with kids,
right?
Because it is virtually dialogue free, and it's a real good showcase for the idea that if you've designed your comic panels well, you should be able to read the comic without dialogue for the most part. should be able to follow it. And this is like a prime example of that.
All right, I like that. I'm on it.
Have you did? I don't want to spoil it in case you've not watched it. Have you watched the Fantastic Four trailer?
No. I've seen images and all of that.
Yeah, it's just great. Bully for you.
Oh man, there was definitely something I was gonna.
But can I just say something about it? So I watched the trailer. I really like the look of it.
I do too. I started watching it, to be honest, and I like. Oh, go on. Say what you
And
say.
it's got it's not a spoiler. That Galactus is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a shot of Galactus, and I'm like, but it doesn't actually you don't really see him as such, but you see enough to know, yep, that's my boy, that's Galactus. And I'm like, we've come a long way from some magical cloud like that in that other Fantastic Four film. He looked like Galactus. I'm like, I'm all, and proper old school Galactus as well. I'm all in, and I think whoever came up with the idea, I know I did say this originally when they were talking about rebooting it, but whoever came up with the idea of setting in the 60s.
No, yeah, I'm really about something much more sort of superhero stuff being period.
And I don't know, I dare say it's kind of what Marvel needs, is that something just so left field. It's going to hook people in just on the fact it's something different. I'm still not 100% sold on my boy Pedro as
Reed Richards.
No,
I mean, I know you. I know what you mean.
On one hand,
yeah,
it's almost a little bit like if you turn him in a certain light, you're like, oh yeah, no, I can kind of see it, and then the light goes, you're like, oh, I don't know.
It is the last casting I'd have imagined.
Yeah, I feel like that dude that they cast in was it John? I can't remember. I can't pronounce his name now. But he's the one that had him as Reed in Doctor Strange 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Even that.
He looked a bit more, but even that, I was still.
He seemed to be channeling him a bit more, even though he wasn't, spot on.
Yeah. There's a part of me that's almost like he didn't get enough air. He didn't get enough time to get himself going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure. But I've not seen him. I've not seen the film yet, so I'm giving him the benefit. A lot of people are kicking off about the Thing, saying he don't sound like the Thing and he don't look like the Thing. And I'm like, you know what? He looks like the Thing to me.
I was like, yeah.
From the old school comics, he looks like the Thing. And actually, the way that you even watched The Bear, have you? Is it The Bear?
The Bear.
Yeah, it's a show about like a guy trying to run a restaurant.
I've watched an episode of it.
Okay. But he's one of the guys in that, and they haven't really done anything to his voice as such. So he kind of sounds like the guy from The Bear. But I think that works rather than trying to gravel up his voice.
Yeah, it's clobbering time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't heard the voice, so I'm like, yeah.
He was the one I actually thought, you know what, I actually quite like that. So yeah.
I'm going to finish with this one.
Okay.
And it's a little bit out of left field.
Okay.
I don't know if it fits in this show, but you could be the judge of that. Have you watched Celebrity Bear Hunt?
I was having a crap day, but that's made my day. Have I watched it? The more important question is like, have I rinsed Celebrity Bear Hunt? Because I
rinsed it, mate. Rinsed it. I rinsed it. So, but also apparently it's been a flop.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
And everyone's going, oh yeah, it's it's because of Holly. And I was like, is it? I thought she was all right.
Oh, is that whole thing with Philip Schofield and all that stuff?
Yeah, well, apparently, everyone's going, and then Bear Grylls, he was like a bit of a Trump fan apparently, and stuff. I mean, that would do it more than Holly Willoughby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought I loved it, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. And the whole family, we're sitting there going, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got to do this. No, why don't you just double back and do like armchair, you know what I mean?
So for people who don't know, what's Celebrity Bear Hunt, Dave? I mean, we did mention it, didn't we, in a couple of episodes earlier? Yeah.
So basically, they took 12 celebrities to the jungles of Costa Rica, and you get Bear Grylls, who's ex-SAS, he's an adventurer, he's a survival expert, and he teaches them little skills, and he sets them a task every day. And then the people who were like, one of my favourite tasks was they had to jump off a cliff into a river, swim across it, and get these rafts, which they had to blow up by hand, settle down the river, collecting stuff to make a fire, because he taught them how to make fire, get to this beach, and they're in teams, get to this beach, build a fire from scratch, and boil water on it. And the ones who boil the water first was like proper survival skills, yeah? And the worst one, the ones who lost, would go in the bear pit, which was this big area of wilderness. And there was 4 people in there and 3 exits. And initially you would win by either getting out or evading bear for the whole hour. And then as it went on, it was like, nah, you can't evade. You've just got to get out now if you want to like win. And then they'd whittle them down until there was like, a few left. And and just watching all these different personalities come together and try and do it. It was I found it fascinating, and I found the survival aspect of it really interesting. I liked it, but apparently it's been a flop.
It's a shame, man. But I lived for the bear pit bit, man.
The bear pit was great.
Some of the ways he took some of the people down. I think he took one dude down. He kind of was on some kind of harness thing and kind of came swinging down.
He comes. Yeah.
I tell you, man. And he was quite harsh. I thought he was a couple of times where we said one guy was trying to run, and he was like, he was trying to dig his way out. He's exhausted. The bear sort of caught him, and he was like, he's like, did you put enough effort? He goes, well, I put in 90% effort, and I was saving 10% from a crawl through a tunnel. He's like, yeah, not good enough.
Yeah, you deserve to be caught then.
No, it was good, man. I like you said once, man. It was just, and where I'm at the moment, man. Sometimes I just want some easy TV. It just makes me laugh, and and I quite liked the fact that some of the stuff, because I was a bit kind of like, I wish some of the skills came into it a bit more when they went in the bear pit, but actually the final,
every skill they learn
came into it. So I quite like that, but I kind of wished, and maybe we won't get that now, but I kind of wish if it got another season, they do more of that as it goes on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And something like that would evolve, and the challenges would evolve, and
exactly.
Often with things like this, the first series is like working out how it works, really.
Yeah.
But it must be quite expensive to make, because my boy, every time I go into the bear pit, my boy comes in on a helicopter or he's parachuting, did a halo drop.
My boy was living his best life, man.
He was, man. I was going to say there was one point where Bear walks out the bear pit after it's all done. He actually looked mashed.
Yeah.
He looked like he'd had a run for his money. It was like,
there was a bit where I can't think which one of them it was, and the guy had sort of heard something. He looked around at him. He was looking for Ben. He goes, "Oh yeah, he's on Amber. He's with it. He's going to be formidable prey." I'm like, yeah. I'm like, this is what I want to see, man. Now cut his throat, and he was looking at me like this.
Yeah, cut his throat.
There was one of them. He was and that's the other thing I was going to say. It was the guy from In-Betweeners.
Oh my word!
Right?
He was interesting, wasn't he?
Because you think he's going to be a doofus, and then and they were even saying, yeah, he's a bit of a doofus.
Because he looked like the world was about to end. Every time you see his face, like, this guy's going to fall on my head.
Yeah, and then they put him in charge of something, and it was like someone flipped a switch. He's like, right, you put that there. No. Now you put that there.
Yeah,
you do this.
Go.
You go over there. No, it's not. He was on it, man. He was on it.
Did not see that coming
until they put him in the bear pit.
Yeah, he did some madness in the bear pit, man.
Oh, he was the one that was just standing there, and Bear came up behind him.
He literally stood behind him.
Yeah,
just tracked him down.
But I mean, Alfred, I said I said it to see. I don't know how I would get away without not turning around and smacking him by accident out of sheer shock.
Yeah, you know.
And then just tripping, you know what I
mean? Oh man. Yeah. So on that note,
yes, seems an appropriate moment.
Yeah. I just say check it out, man. It's fun. And also, it was there were some personality problems, but on the whole, it wasn't a negative show. I mean, I love Traitors, but Traitors is all about getting one over on people.
Yeah.
And but it was nothing negative. There was a lot of support going on in there, and it was quite. I found it quite wholesome in some ways. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species of all kinds, let us know what you thought of everything we say. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know. Email us at thegeeks@geeksyndicate.co.uk. Find us on all social media. If you like what we're doing, help us pay the bills on Patreon or Ko-fi.com. But till next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.